It's been said that New York State government is the most corrupt state in the nation. With what we've seen of late, it's hard to argue against that perception. This last legislative term saw the arrest and conviction of the leaders of both houses of the state legislature. Former Senate Majority Leader Dean Skelos was found guilty of extorting businesses to hire his family members and using public policy and his power to create and block laws to enrich his family. Former Assembly Speaker Sheldon Silver has been found guilty of using his office and access to public funds to enrich himself personally. These acts are despicable, and we owe a debt of gratitude to U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara for the thorough and relentless manner in which he has pursued unethical behavior in Albany. My name is George Latimer. I have the great pleasure and the great responsibility to represent the 37th Senate District in the New York State Legislature. I've worked my entire career to promote ethical behavior by public officials. In the Senate, I have voted to take pensions away from any public official convicted of a work-related felony. I voted to limit the terms of leadership in the legislature to spread out the power over which bills can come before legislators for consideration. I voted to fight to include all members in budget negotiations to end the 3 men in a room debacle that has made a mockery of open government and spends over $150 billion of your money with little or no transparency or accountability. I voted to reduce the amount of money that can be donated to individuals running for state offices to ensure that candidates have to reach out to the larger group of people rather than to the narrow special interest. And I've introduced legislation to prohibit convicted individuals from ever having any position of political power in the party system, which includes great power over who gets to run for public office. The reality is, too much money influences state politics, and legislative leaders have far too much centralized power to determine what bills can become law and what projects will be funded with your money. My opponent believes that it would be a breath of fresh air for her to go to Albany. But she would support the same long-term elected officials who've overseen this system that has brought us this terrible mess. New faces can often bring the same policies and the same results. As your state senator, I pledge that I will continue to fight every day to empower every legislator and thus every voter and work to get big money out of state politics. I voted for these things in the past and will continue to keep fighting until we make Albany represent all of us and not just the power brokers and the self-dealers.